Yeah, I had that problem explaining.
Yeah, it's like at some point, I know she's going to be like, well, it's not your excuse anymore.
Yeah.
Right now I get to go, well, I know I'm a psychopath, but it pays the bills, honey.
Yeah.
There's a limit to that, though. There's a point when I'm like, all right, you're still a human being, get your shit together.
Yeah. So it's like, I got to...
He's an artist.
I've had to learn to, grow up a little bit, and let shit go. So.
He does, you do what, about a good 25 minutes about her now.
Yeah.
And you don't mind at all? You enjoy it?
No. I mean, I know that what he does, I mean, and I'm saying, he's an artist, and I'm saying that sarcastically, but really, truly, he is.
Right.
And this is what he does, and this is who he is, and I'm a part of it now, so I respect that, and whatever you need to bring in, it's fair game.
Yeah, that's, I mean, even like, because I do, part in my act about, the whole thing where it's talking about, talking during sex and making noise and
that happens, Sal.
That happened between us. She was like, why are you so quiet when we have? And the thing is I felt, as an artist, you kind of have to grow. Like your life is usually at least 6 months to a year ahead of your art.
Right.
Like where it's like you have to get if something changes in your life, like where you have a girlfriend, a fiance. You get married, you have kids, I have a new dog in the house, whatever. Those things have to be part of my life for a little while before I start having things that, I can start talking about on stage.
Right.
And with her, it was like, I had to gradually get into it, because it used to be, like, I used to tell that story in reference saying that it was my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, I think I heard you say that last week.
Yeah, it just started last night, where or 2 nights ago or whatever, where I just started, actually telling the story the way it happened, because I'm like more, just get more comfortable with, okay, that's, you can embrace it easily and then tell it to strangers.
Right.
And she was actually pissed that I used my ex-girlfriend in the story. Like, she's like, no, that was,
Don't talk about that, cunt.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, she did, and it's like a lot of women might be like, hey, keep our business off stage.
Right.
She's like,
that's
no,
my
hey,
story. That happened to me. I had to fucking go through that experience.
Right.
She doesn't get credit for that. Like, I had to listen to you say that kind of bullshit.
You know what's funny? My ex-lady was so supportive when I talked about her and helped me write a couple things, actually. And then one day when she saw these attractive girls taking pictures with me and started really digging, then that's when she started getting upset about it.
Really?
You know what I mean? Which was weird. And maybe, in hindsight, you look at things, okay, good thing, maybe it didn't work out.
Right.
But that was just kind of like, whoa, where did that come from all of a sudden?
Yeah, that's tough,
I think maybe because I was already a fan of John's before I came into the relationship.
Right.
I knew this was his work. I knew this was his business. I don't get jealous because I know this is what he does. And I think that's, it depends on where you start your relationship and where you build it from there, because I already knew this was happening before I stepped into the picture.
Yeah.
So now it's okay, I embrace that. And I love when, girls get, cute and everything on Facebook and everything. I don't mind it at all.
You run the Facebook.
Well, she knows, like, it's, it's not, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
like,
that was my
it's
point.
just like, I'm not the type of guy, like, who, women will come up to me, even, that's the thing, before I was with her, I'm still not the type of guy, with women, like, hey, so we're going out tonight, and I'm like, oh, yeah, can't wait to babysit some drunk bitches.
Right.
I'm not, I'm the guy who I need to go back to my hotel room and watch The Simpsons for a while before I can deal with anybody.
Right.
And she knows, like, it's not really something that's, it's a danger, and she knows I won't do anything that would be disrespectful to her.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I don't sign tits. I do not sign, and it's not because of her. It's just, I just think it's fucking creepy. Now I can put it on her though and say, "Oh, sorry, I'm engaged. Can't sign your big gross tit." So yeah, it's so I'm not. Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things. I think it just, I mean, I never met your ex-girl. I remember I met you when you were with her, and I mean, but it's, I mean, the thing is it takes, with show business and everything else, it takes a certain type of woman who's going to want to deal with this type of shit. Because it's like, I mean, I remember, and, like I said, I never met your ex, but I remember I saw was watching an interview with Rex Ryan a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about his wife, and he's been with his wife, the one that was in the Foot video with them that everybody was making fun. They've been together for 27 years, I think he said. Wow. And he said like, he's like, look, there's two types of women in this business. Good one, he's like, great ones and ex ones. Right. And that's the thing where it's like, look, they're either gonna be the type of woman that's just gonna, know how to put up with this type of shit, or they're just not gonna want to deal with it.
I think what happened was other shit got annoyed, and then that just became something else.
Right.
Having that said, too, like, I watched the Vince Vaughn's Wild West comedy tour that he was on, the movie, and I'm sitting there watching him. I mean, this is years and years before I even met him. He knew I was alive, anything like that. But I saw him signing a tit on that movie.
Oh, hey, what the hell?
I didn't say that. I used to not know how to term people down, because at first it's like, oh, you want me to sign a tit? That's cool. But then you have to sign a few tits before you're like,
before you can turn them down.
Because it's offensive.
Like, you can't wash off Sharpie in one night. Yeah. So it's like, there's some random chick walking around Cleveland with my name on her tit. Like, it's just, that's fucking weird.
But that was weird for a minute. But now that I know he doesn't do it, and I know him, and I know that he's not going to go out there, and I'm not worried about him, whether he's in Birmingham or New York City. I'm comfortable at home, and it's.
Yeah, it also has to come down to, because the thing is, with your, whatever your relationship is, there still has to be a trust issue there anyway. Right. Like, you have to know that, I'm not the type of guy to do that, and, so it's like, it depends on the individual situation.
Right. Are you feeling like now that you were a fan and now being behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Has that changed, like, the view, like...
Oh, it's changed a lot.
It's totally different, right?
Yeah.
Because no one sees the dark side, I think.
Nah.
And I still don't believe there's that dark of a side. It's definitely different than what people, perceive it to be. I was a huge fan of Chelsea lately, and that's why I was a fan of John's. And now, going to the tapings of Chelsea lately and being able, I see John, he's one of the only comedians there who really thinks up his stuff right off the bat.
Yeah, like, you kill on Chelsea lately, by the way. I've told you before, but you are fucking awesome on Chelsea.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I never watch it.
That's why it's so fun to do.
I'll watch it because you kill it.
Well, that's what's so fun about it is, like, with any other, you do the Tonight Show or Kimmel or something like that, like, you have to go on with, do 4 minutes of your act, and you have to clean it up.
Right.
And, like, it's never as good as it would be in a comedy club anyway. And, and it's over and done. Whereas Chelsea lately, it's like, they tell me the topics 3 hours before we tape. Right. And, normally, I'll think of some jokes, but it depends on where the conversation goes on air. Right. So it's like, that's where it's really fun, is you get to just be funny instead of just, like going, all right, I'm going to go do my act. And that's what's so fun about that show.
Plus, you're good at playing off of people too.
Well, that's the thing that and that's what I like too. Is like, I think that's what, if you're a comedian, you should be able to do that.
Right.
Like it's amazing. Like, you got into how long have you been doing comedy now, Sal?
About like 7 years.
Yeah. So it's like when you first, like, I remember I was afraid to get into comedy because I'm the funny guy with all my friends and my family, and everybody thinks I'm funny and should be a comedian. But I just figured, well, everybody who goes into stand-up is like that. Right. And then you're amazed at, like...
How many aren't?
How many people you're just like, you don't say anything funny when we're just having a conversation.
They're all scripted.
And it's like, it's weird. So it's like, that's why I like a show like Chelsea or something like that, where it's like, look, just, okay... roll the ball out there and let's play.
Right.
And that's what's so fun about it.
So you have like different audiences, because you got your Chelsea crowd, you got your Wild West crowd, you got your blue collar crowd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that strange, like, performing for all of them when they combine?
Well, yeah, it's like, as eventually, like, I hope it just, it all becomes like what, my crowd.
Right.
But that's the thing. It's like, the Chelsea lately thing is probably, done the most as far as, like, because it's like, women mostly watch that show, Chelsea, women and gay dudes. But but it's like, and that's, I got a fiance out of it, so but the thing is we, with the thing is that the Chelsea lately crowd is like, women watch it, but then they'll have their boyfriend or their husband there, and they watch it, and those were guys who might have like me if they saw me on Comedy Central or the Vince Vaughn movie, or I did that CMT show or whatever. And that's the thing that I've always, been happiest about with my comedy is it really, if you're just